Ladies and Glarrys, yes, here we have a Glarry Telecaster type electric guitar. Now the thing is, these are 75 quid to your door, but are they any good? Let's slap it on the bench and well, we'll just have a look at all the usual things. We'll have a look at the construction and string height and frets and output and all that kind of caper. So without any further ado, let's crack on. So the first thing that I want to have a look at is the neck straightness with the notched edge. So let's see what we've got on that. So it's well, it's using the Fender. It's using the Fender notched edge there. So I assume it's a Fender scale. Probably will be. Oh, there you go. So that, as it turns out, looks absolutely bang on. You can't really check your neck straight. Well, you can. I was going to say you can't really check your neck straightness without the strings being on. You can, but then you have to allow for it, because of course the strings do bow the neck when it's under tension. So really the best way to check is when the strings are on. That's what I'm saying. So right, okay, so that's good. It's a very good start. What else do we want to have a look at? Oh, we want to have a look at, oh, hello. We want to have a look at string height. So let's have a look at the string height. And we're going to go, there's no top E string on this, it's just come in for strings. So it belongs to a mate of mine who thought he'd give it a whirl, see what it's like. Am I on the right? Yeah. So, let me see. Okay. If you can see, the string height is very, very high. It's knocking on the door of being 2. And we would like it down to 1.25. Is that achievable? Who knows? So there are two main factors that will make your string height achievable to get to that sweet spot of 1.25 on your top E at the 12th fret. Number one is neck straightness. Totally happy with the neck straight. It's exactly what I want to see. There's just that nice little sliver of light in the center area here, which is what you want to see. The next thing that will make your 1.25 string height achievable is the fret leveliness, and instantly, so we got on here, we got 22 frets. That's impressive. And immediately, fret 21 is proud. It's alright. It's alright. A little bit of a rock. It's alright. That's okay. No, that's alright. It's okay. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit, but not much. Moving down, no, that's fine. Bit of a rock there. Nothing there. There, nothing there, nothing there. That's alright. That's okay. So you know, fret-wise, for a 75 quid guitar, I've got to say it's pretty good. And if I have to address anything, it'll be this fret 21 here, which I can just spot level if required. But we'll see what happens when we drop the strings. Now, obviously, the strings will be dropped using an Allen key inside these. It's got these very, like the vintage style double coursed saddles. So I'm going to, but they do have obviously a screw on either side, a little grub screw on either side, that I can drop and get the string height down. And you know how to do this, I'm pretty sure. Obviously you'll need an Allen key of the correct dimension, which that one either result. Let me put some spectacles on. Let's have a look. Yeah, that seems to be it. So I'm going to try and adjust the string height to an acceptable level. Well, let's just do it. Okay. Obviously, when you drop the string height, it will lower the pitch of the strings, as you might reasonably expect. I mean, generally speaking, you know, when you've done a few hundred, you can usually tell just by feeling. It's still a little bit higher, I would say. That's close. And when you do adjust these saddles, whether you're using either these the one course ones or the individual ones, you want to make sure that the saddles all look kind of straight, but with a little bit of a radius to them to match the radius of the neck, you see. So, and of course, setups are always best carried out before you put new strings on, and then if you do put new strings on, then try your setup, and there's adjustments to make. You might have to take the strings off, and you may very well trash a set of strings. So let's have a look and see what we've got now, height wise, and the survey says it's still no. Oh no, that's no. Actually, I've gone too low. That's just slightly below 125. Oh well, okay. Now at one, so if I'm below 125. Hello. Let's see if we've got any choking, which, to be fair, I do expect because of this proud fret, but let's have a listen. Bless my soul, how about with bending? Well, fair enough, we got away with that. Let's have a look at some other stuff. What I also want to have a look at is the power output of the pickups. So let's plug lead in. And so I've got my multimeter here, which I'm set to 20k ohms, because that's within the area that guitar pickups sit. And I'm going to put the black terminal on the body, on the main body of the jack, and obviously the red one on the tip. Can you see that? 6.97. That is pretty good. So look in the centre. 3.67. And what I do like about this is that the readings are staying very, very stable. And then onto the neck. And yeah, we've got 7.64 there. So, I have to say that so far, so good. I'm quite impressed with that. Right, I'm going to restring this. It's always easier, you know, from a restringing perspective, if all of the tuning machines are on one side, because frequently what I do with the 3 on a side ones is I flip it round when I'm going onto this side, just because it's easier. Right, okay, I'm going to restring. You know what restringing looks like, but just for the sake of completeness, always detension first before you take them off. When you see people cropping through the damn things, it just, honestly, it makes me shiver. I don't think that the wood itself will complain, but certainly you do run the risk of damaging the gears inside the tuning machines. So always detention first, and you know we like to take everything gently with a guitar. So I'll crack on and put some new strings on, and then we'll see what we're left with and see how it sounds. Okay. So in conclusion, well, what I found with this, I mean, it's made of, you know, that's maple, I'm sure. This is probably poplar. It weighs about 4 ounces or whatever that is in kilolitres. And what I have to say is that there were basically 3 things wrong with it that were so easily fixable that it's barely worth mentioning, but I will mention it. Fret 21 was proud, which and actually it was only about 1/4 of an inch, half an inch of it that was proud for some reason. So I just spot leveled that, dropped the action. The neck straightness was absolutely perfect. The tuners, by the way, they are 14:1, which is respectable for a budget guitar, I have to say. And they are sealed tuners. I mean, there is a truss rod in there. I've not tried it to see if it worked because I didn't need to. But given the rest of the construction, I would assume that it does. It looks nice. It really does look nice. The only other 2 things, so we've mentioned Fret 21, which I brought, that took literally 2 minutes. The A and D strings were slightly low intonation wise, and to adjust your intonation there's only one mnemonic that you need. Shorter is sharper, so longer is flatter, obviously, but you only need to remember the one. Shorter is sharper, end of. And so all you do is you just turn this little screw anti-clockwise to push the saddle forward, which makes the string shorter, so the distance between the saddle and the nut is less, and that will bring the pitch up. So intonation perfect. Do you know, I've got to tell you, I'm absolutely impressed, no end, with this instrument. Oh yes, and of course the only other thing was that the string height needed dropping, and so although they're 75 quid to your door, and do you know, honest to God, I sound like a broken bloody record, but really, always just factor in a few extra quid for if you need to take it to Guitar Tech. And let me tell you something. Taking a guitar to your local tech, which will probably run you anywhere between 30 and 50 quid, depending. Probably depending on your postcode, if I'm perfectly honest. And it's worth the money, because if your guitar is horrible and doesn't play, or it sounds slightly out of tune up here or something like that, and you're not 100% sure what to do, it's the best 40 or 50 quid that you will ever spend. So let's have, so sonically, now we know that the pickups are very, very respectable, and they're popping out, you know, great numbers in the late 7s, I think, both of them. So let's have a listen to it sonically. We'll start with just for a change, we'll start with the neck pickup. Now let's go on to the centre. And onto the bridge. Like a great big box of Kleenex, or however it is it goes. So, you know, honestly, I really, it's probably about the best 75 quid you can spend, to be absolutely fair to the guitar. And they fetch them to your door for that, in that 75 quid to your front door, within the United Kingdom, of course. However long that will last is a mystery, but never mind. Right, so thanks all ever so much for tuning in and having a look at the Glarry. Yeah, I've got to say, if you're starting out, 75 quid to your door, definitely budget in a few extra quid, 30, 40, 50 quid tops, to have it sorted out, although you might not need to. And that is it from me and the Glarry. Love it. I'm impressed. All right. Adios, amigos. Ta-ra.